We're back at it again, guys. So we were able to close off this month at $73,000. So kind of the second half was trading these Apex accounts, which are close. We're getting close to a payout, guys. I cannot wait. I had a $16,000 day today in three total trades. First two were losers. Third one was a like 35-point banger on ES. We're going to recap all the trades today, go over why I took them, what my setups was, go over the execution, why I did what I did, and how I'm going to be playing these prop firm accounts to be able to get a $30,000 payout. Hopefully in about, well, started 2 weeks ago. So hopefully this week we can request our $30,000 payout. We're getting close. We're getting close, guys. And I've been playing these prop firms very different than I play my live account. Obviously, I have a video dropping, so make sure you subscribe and like, and stay tuned for the video I have dropping on the system and on the strategy, mostly to do with risk management, position sizing that I use for prop firm accounts is very different. Because again, when you're playing prop firms, you're not trying to beat the market, you're trying to beat the prop firm. So let's just go ahead and hop right into what we ended up doing today. So broader aspect, right? We're bearish, so I took shorts only today, even though we kind of have a pump overnight and a pump off the open. I did catch the shorts today. We dropped a decent bit into VWAP, but overall 4 hours bearish, so I was already looking for a position to the downside, right? We had the volume profile showing us more volume as we're moving down. Overall market's bearish. We have war going on, everything kind of screaming, hey, the market's bearish. So part of my pre-market plan today that I post every single day before the market open for my students is I was looking at shorts at 6,490s, which is basically a supply level we have, was Friday supply level. So this supply level right here, we put in on Friday on the 30-minute time frame, is a level I was watching out for potential shorts. This little consolidation candle here before this massive spike down, and a retest showing a strength off that level for a significant move down. And this is where we entered shorts into VWAP. As you can tell, it's a quick move to VWAP. We're kind of just pulling that kind of higher low into VWAP for the market to then continue to the upside. Now, it's still very controversial right now. One day, great talks. Next day, Ariana is like never happened. So still pretty confusing, and I'm still going to be sticking to only my funded accounts until this is cleared out. Now, this war, this conflict might go on a lot longer than most people are thinking, kind of like how the tariff situation. But what I want to see is when headlines about tariffs that used to come out was not affecting the market as much, I was prepared to be more aggressive. Same thing here. When headlines about Iran, like pretty important shit, starts dropping and the market doesn't have a massive effect, that's when I'll be comfortable trading my live account again. But for now, we're going to rack up these payouts and do what we can. We took 3 entries, pretty much all super close to each other within 15 minutes. We'll talk about all 3 here. First things first, let's go ahead and look at what we saw. So on the 30-minute here in the footprint chart, this was the open, right? We pumped up. We kind of tell most of the volumes to the downside. Volume got thin up here, and buyers kind of just died out on this 30-minute time period candle, giving us the opportunity to see weakness from buyers to hop into this short, which is a candle short right here. On the 5-minute time frame, it shows us an aggressive pump up, 3K, 1K, 1.5K, almost 3K positive delta as the market was moving up. Volume was dying out. So what was key here was to wait for this seller to hop in first. On this whole move up we had pre-market overnight, we had buyers in control. Even off the open when sellers came in, they were weak. Buyers bottom up instantly. So I didn't want to short off that first move. I was waiting, always waiting for the seller to hop in first. I'm not trying to be the first seller here, right? I don't want to be right. I want to make money. So I wait for the first seller to come in, and then off this retest, which I got faked out twice, right? I lost 18 points before I made about 34. We actually caught a nice move down all the way into my beautiful, beautiful VWAP level that I actually just deleted, but I'll show you guys where VWAP is sitting right here. So nice short from here all the way to VWAP. A beautiful, beautiful move. Cannot complain. That VIX spike went crazy on our side. But let's watch Bookmap here to show you guys exactly the entries we took, why we took the entries, so you can kind of get a good idea. But zooming out a little bit here, right? We took multiple trades. First one actually was on this candle close right here. So a little bit off of this one. This candle close, we took our entry stop loss at that retest level right here, right? Can kind of tell we got stopped out. Next candle, same thing. This candle closed, right? I took my second entry because I kept seeing entry triggers. I kept seeing a beautiful setup presenting itself, and I do limit myself to 3 trades per day. So the third trade came up, we retested that zone, saw an entry trigger again, and then we sold off. So let's go over the risk. Let's go over the execution. The best invalidation was off this third trade, which is the high we made for the day, right? These two invalidation levels weren't great. And as I was live with my mentorship students, I do go live every single day. I trade live every single day. If you want to watch me trade live every single day, get one-on-one help and literally just help you overcome your psychology, learn order flow, everything you need, like the one-stop shop for your trading needs. Apply down below, get through it all, make sure you answer honestly. And afterwards, if you're interested to let you book a call with me, my brother, or someone on our team, one of our analysts, it's a free call, no commitment. I'll just kind of talk to you about next steps. If you're interested, apply down below. Let's go ahead and hop into our system here. So again, 3 trades overall. First one's about an 8 or 7 point loss. Second one is about a 9 point loss. Third one was a nice 30 point or 34 point dub. So that's kind of the name of the game, right? You lose less, and when you win more. But let's go ahead and check out Bookmap. So you can kind of see, right, on the whole way up, buyers were in control. Not a single seller came into play. Then, for the first time ever, this first 5-minute move down right here, that was that candlestick chart, footprint chart I showed you where we had that negative delta. Sellers finally stepped up, right, and started to hold lower prices. Sorry, it came out right here. Sellers finally started to step up and started to hold lower prices. Not right here. It came down right here. Now, you kind of tell before that, right, we had sellers come in, but instantly got back up and made new highs. This seller came in and struggled to make new highs, which is kind of why I started to watch. Also, we had a nice invalidation point. So we saw buyers, right, come into this big wall of passive offers and really failed to put a new high. So here, the first time we had absorption, more absorption. We come in here, more absorption, a little bit of exhaustion in between. So buyers are struggling around the 90s, and that just happened to sit right in our key supply level. So let's go over all the entry triggers I use. So we got faked out a couple times, right? We had a little retest here. So I use this entry right here. Aggressive seller coming back into the market. Underneath that last move it made as well, right? And another aggressive seller underneath this fill. So a trigger I use is I want to see sellers have a shift on Bookmap. So we go from making our move up, right? Before not having a single seller into this supply, right? This is kind of right at the open. Not having a single seller. We also had news at 10 a.m. It wasn't a big deal because of Trump. Making a fill underneath an aggressive order and holding underneath price, right? Started to happen right here first. So that checked out. Like sellers are now starting to come into the market. Right here, we had a floor we held multiple times. The market comes back up. We see more absorption, more exhaustion into our key supply level. So we're just adding more into the context. And as we start to move down underneath where sellers got exhausted like 3 times, we see aggressive selling pressure come in and we see bids below price. So this was my first entry to take the market short. We get stopped out. My stop loss was just kind of above these levels right here. As you could tell from this candlestick chart, entered around the 81s. Stop loss was right at the 88s. So coming down right here, our entry was around these 81s after we saw this fill. Stop loss was at the 88s, kind of just above that candle high right here. Then we ended up actually getting stopped out of this trade. And then we see, I have marked out here, there's multiple different entry triggers, but the key thing here is context, right? Supply, bearish, war, and then the buyers actually hitting a rejection at that supply level. I think we're back in that supply level right now, and we just absolutely ripped through. What did I just miss here, guys? You're seeing this live with me. Iran's president, we're ready to end war, but we want guarantees. So that's what I'm saying, bro. News is just going absolutely fucking bonkers recently, and if you're not literally under risking, going to evals, not trading a live account, you're not protecting yourself, you're going to get absolutely destroyed. All right, sorry guys, I had to pause a little bit to manage some longer term stuff here after that spike we had, but it's pretty much what we were used to, right? News is dropping. It's going to cause crazy reactions like that. Again, why we're focused on these funded accounts for the time being. But this right here is super important just to wait, man. A lot of people today probably got faked out from shorts like I did multiple times, whether that was in that first supply level we came into off the open, whether that was kind of multiple times like I did here. But the important thing is for me that we waited on this first seller, waited on this first leg down, and put in a new low to take this position. And as this was going on, as we were actually holding supply, and look at Bookmap, right? You start to see this whole way up an actual reaction, an actual rejection of buyers, an actual failure to move price up inside supply versus that first supply level. You see the exact opposite. You see buyers come in, be aggressive, and hold higher prices as we move up. Also kind of mixed with this kind of fat wave of offers we had, pretty much the biggest amount of liquidity we had all day sitting right here. So we waited on an aggressive leg down, used sellers having confirmation, filling passive buy offers and making new aggressive bids underneath those passive offers as our entry. And then we just played our risk correctly. So originally, this is how I manage my risk when trading these prop firms. This candle closed, I hopped in, stop loss at the high of this candle. I assumed the high of this candle because especially how aggressive this move down was was that lower high. Got stopped out. Same thing happened again. I got in the second trade right here, put my stop loss above this candle, assuming that that candle was retapping supply and would be the lower high of the day. Got stopped out. Then for my third and final trade, right here, we started to see buyers start to step up actually. So I waited for me to see on this first red candle here, sellers coming back into the market. And then we took our position and took the market down. So this candle here allowed me to put my invalidation at this high because it was close enough of risk, especially for a move down into view up. So I kept my risk small, knowing my reward would be massive. So how I managed this was actually trailing my stop down as we were moving down. So as we came into this low, right, we moved our stop to break even. As we came into this demand retest, we moved our stop even lower into this low. As we came into this 60 level on Bookmap, we moved our stop down to that last candle high, pretty much at the same location, and then we got out, we marketed out at VWAP. I was trailing my stop loss super close. I'm not holding, I was up like 30 points in profit. I'm not just going to keep my stop loss at red where it is. I'm moving my stop loss down with my account. And in this situation, I could have made more money because if I kept trailing down, I probably would have only got hit my trail right here, pretty much exactly where we got out. I could have made more money, but the consistency rule in Apex is kind of why I mentioned that you're playing the prop firm, right? You're not playing the market. I had a consistency rule, so I couldn't make that much money, so I had to get out. But either way, it would have reversed on me a little bit further below. Probably could have squeezed like, 10 more points. Not a big deal. Consistency would have been out of the window. But that is my current setup for today, guys. Again, watching order flow, watching Bookmap, watching footprint charts. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, put any comments you have down below in the description. If you want to watch me trade live and get one-on-one guidance on being able to stack out some payouts like hopefully we're about to do this week, apply down below, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.